Greetings, all you Jackson Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your host, the Viking Donkey, coming to you solo Pro Bowl weekend. Its game's already happened, but like I said, we're going to talk about the championship games that happened last week. We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl players, and I'm not going to get too much into this game you're seeing here, the Super Bowl preview, because we got all next week to do that. First, let's give a shout out to the four Pittsburgh Steelers representatives in the Pro Bowl. The deserving should be Defense Player of the Year, TJ Watt. The deserving absolute stalwart, Cam Hayward. And then the replacements. Diontae Johnson, good year. Probably not a Pro Bowl season if, the best players from the best in the Pro Bowl. But for some reason, we want to have the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl so the best players from the best teams don't get a partake in the showcase of the best teams in the league, or best players in the league, because that makes sense. Let's showcase the best players from not the best teams instead of the best players from the best teams, because that's the way the NFL works. And, well, they figured they would get more viewership if they put the Pro Bowl pre-Super Bowl, but honestly, it hasn't affected it at all because no one cares about the Pro Bowl. I'm not sure I know a single person who watches the Pro Bowl, and if there is a single person who watches the Pro Bowl, congratulations to you. But I will give a shout out to the Steeler players who made it. That's TJ Watt, that's Cam Hayward, replacements in Diontae Johnson and Najee Harris. Both had good seasons, maybe not Pro Bowl-esque seasons, though Najee was close with the amount of carries he got, not pure statistics, but he got a lot of carries, so that's something special going on there. Now, you gotta represent Steeler Nation. Hopefully all four of those guys have a great year next year and don't get a play in the Pro Bowl because we're playing in the game that is going to feature the Cincinnati Bengals being the home team at the LA Rams Stadium against the LA Rams. Doesn't make too much sense. I don't know if the Bengals chose to or not, but I know they have the opportunity to kick the Rams out of their own locker room, which is kind of a weird thing. But let's talk about how these two teams got here. First, we go to the NFC Championship game, and everyone in the world is going to say how clutch Matthew Stafford came up. But let's be honest here, Matthew Stafford late in the game throws what should be an absolute gift interception, and I don't know why the Niners safety name's just leaving me right now. Just drops a give me interception. Oh man. Rams get score, they score again, all of a sudden they're up a field goal, Garoppolo gets the ball, can he be a hero? He lets himself get into a situation where he's getting sacked, and instead of just taking the sack, tries to flip a ball, it gets tipped and intercepted by Eric Weddle, and then in a poorly played offensive game by both San Francisco and the LA Rams, you have the Rams coming out on top because the plays that needed to be made got made by the LA Rams defense, and Pitt alum Aaron Donald leading that defense, no doubt. Watch that guy, and he is the bear on the planet. I mean, oh my, watching Aaron Donald is fun. And the better unit, the only unit that I'd say was a plus unit the whole game, the Rams defense. Came up big when it needed to. Rams offense came up small. That's why these rumors of Garoppolo getting traded. If you're a team, are you really willing to give up draft capital to pay for a quarterback who cost you a lot of money? Like, it seems like a bad recipe for anyone who wants Garoppolo. He made a great run with the Niners, but honestly, he did not play good in any of those playoff games. He kind of held them back a little bit. And I know he's been linked to the Steelers a lot. Please know, because he is not the type of quarterback that moves the needle. Rams going in there. That's a good football team. That defense is amazing. Stafford plays hot and cold, and more so cold in big games. But at the end of the day, that defense, at least in this case, was good enough to make up for it. And not the first time teams have dropped big interceptions this playoff. Not the first time it's happened against Stafford. Sometimes you just got to take the luck of the draw. And hey, lucky teams, a lot of times are the teams that win Super Bowl, not the better teams. I'm looking at you, New York Giants and Eli Manning twice as my exact example of it. Sometimes it's better to get the luck on your side than just be the performing football team on a certain Sunday. Now we flip over to the end of the game, and I'm going to call out an old school coach for doing a new school thing that I hate, and that is not understanding how points are important and misunderstanding the idea of the advanced stats, the we should go for it here situations. And you have Kansas City up 21 right before halftime on the 3-yard line with about 6 seconds left. If you're going to run a play, it has to be a throw to the end zone because you don't want the clock to expire. For some reason, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, they come up with this play to throw a little wide receiver flat route, essentially a wide receiver screen. Understand what a flat route is? To Tyreek Hill, Eli Apple makes the tackle. Time runs out. So instead of going up 24, they're only up like 21. And everyone's like, oh, it won't matter. Maybe it wasn't 21, but they had 21 points. They could have went up another score, but instead of doing that, they run this weird play. And I'm going to be honest, just changed the way the game was played, because after that, the Bengals defense just shut down the Chiefs. Who knows what's going on there? Mahomes didn't have a good second half. No one had a good second half on that Chiefs side. The Bengals defense came out to play. Eli Apple, Mike Hilton, all those guys came out to play. Tyler Boyd had some big catches, another Pitt alum. Great to see that a Pitt alum is going to win a Super Bowl. We got Donald for two of the greatest players out of Pennsylvania. Let's be honest here. Just Southwestern PA kids from the beginning. I think one's Penn Hills, one's Clairton. Both go into Pitt, and then they go to the Bengals, Rams, teams that drafted them. Great to see success out of those kids. Great to see, well, I can't call them kids anymore, those former Northwest Pennsylvania kids that are now full-grown, big, dominant personnels in the NFL. But, I mean, I just have to look at the Chiefs and I'd say, what are you doing? What is this new school football where points on the board don't matter? We've seen it cost so many teams. The Chargers aren't in the playoffs because 2 or 3 times this year, their new school coach refused to just take the points on the board, goes for it 4 times on 3rd down, misses 3 of them. If he kicks field goals, there's 2 different games. If he just kicks field goals when they're inside what would be 40-yard field goals, they win those 2 games. But we got these new school coaches who seem to think defense can't stop anyone, and the only way to win is score touchdowns every drive. And instead of taking points when they're there, they don't take any points. And it's just dumb. It changes momentum. That's what I don't think they understand, is these new coaches are playing like this is Madden and momentum's not a real thing. Look what the Chiefs got stopped there. They felt good. They felt they could do it, and they stopped them. That's why you can't make these decisions. That's why it's dumb to make these decisions. And at the end of the day, terrible, terrible decisions by the Bengals. Terrible decisions by the Chiefs while playing the Bengals. And now you get to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I mean, they hadn't won a playoff game since before I was born going into this year. And then Joe Burrow, you want to see why a franchise quarterback could change the luck of an organization, especially before he gets paid. Look at Joe Burrow. In fact, the Bengals are going to have a bunch going into the offseason to re-sign the guys they're losing and to probably add 1 or 2 key free agents into the mix. I mean, young quarterbacks can get it done. Look what the Rams, I guess you could do it the Rams way, which is sell out the future. And if they win the Super Bowl, it looks great. If they don't win the Super Bowl, oh, it's going to look really bad because they are about to get crushed by salary cap implications. Not as hard as New Orleans. I don't know if anyone's ever looked, but going into next year, New Orleans is negative $70 million in cap space. Like, I'm not even sure how you can get cap compliant and field a football team when you're negative $70 million. I understand why Sean Payton ran away now, because who wants to coach a team that's literally but undrafted free agents, which is it's going to happen. But kudos to the Bengals, played a great second half, come out as the AFC champs. Kudos to the LA Rams, played defensively just a great game the whole time, did enough offensively, NFC champs. You're looking at 2 teams who actually both believe in playing defense. And you know what? We talk about it all the time. Defense wins championships. And I guess it kind of played out this year when you look at the teams that were pure offensive based, which were the hot teams, the number 1 teams in all the conferences, the teams that you don't want to play because you can't stop their offense, run into a team that's a little more defensive minded. Now, don't get me wrong, the Bengals have a great offense, but they played some great defense this year too. And then all of a sudden, these teams with the good defenses show up, they play out, and they are playing in the Super Bowl this year. So all the defense lovers out there have to like this, because it's probably more of a better units, the defensive side potential, at least for the Rams for sure, and possibly for the Bengals. Yet both of these teams have high, potent offenses, but both offenses tend to be a little Jekyll and Hyde. They'll put up 41 week 20 the next, but both are legitimately good on both sides of the football teams. You're looking at two really complete football teams. I can't wait to watch this game. I don't know what else to say about the championship game other than I think the Chiefs lost it by making bad decisions, much like the 49ers. I'll say it. When they had that 4th and 2 and they take a delay a game and decide to punt late in the game when they're only up 3 points, you haven't stopped Stafford much in the second half. And I'm going to be honest, I think broke Kyle Shanahan because ever since that game when he was offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, everyone knows what game I'm talking about, the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Tom Brady broke Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan has been afraid to be aggressive ever since that moment. I understand that he has Jimmy Garoppolo, not the greatest situation, but Kyle Shanahan used to be the guy who played to win. Now he's the guy who plays not to lose, which is one of the big things I've said about Mike Tomlin. There are times to be aggressive. There are times not to be aggressive. The biggest thing, I think, is you take points when they're there, but punting the ball away, defense hadn't made a stop in a couple drives, is kind of chicken stuff, so to say. Before I get on to the end, I guess there is one other big Steeler news. Terrell Austin is supposed to be moved up to defensive coordinator. Woo-wee! The Steelers hiring from within house again because you have to come and learn the Steeler way and do the Steelers thing before you can become a coach because new ideas are scary. I really hope it works out, but I'm not sold on hiring from within, as I can't remember the last time hiring from within worked. I was told all the time, you should be happy about this. Oh, Adrian Clem's a great offensive line coach. He's going to make these guys good. We lose him before the season's even over because he's terrible. We hired Brandy Feichner from within. That didn't work out good. Matt Canada's the closest from not hiring from within because he was only with the organization for 1 year before we gave him a coordinator spot. We'll see how that works out in year 2. But even then, I'm not sure you could call that a hiring from within thing. I mean, it was, but it wasn't like a long-time Steeler coach getting promoted like these other positions have been. I don't know. I'm a fan of getting new ideas in there because it's how you mix things up. And let's be honest, have been very vanilla both on offense and defense for about 3 years now. And it's why the good teams do what they do to us. I wish Terrell Austin nothing but the best. Got to get the best out of that front 7 because the backside is going to be weak. Hopefully we figure out what's going on with Tuitt so we know if we need to. But there's some Steeler news for you, so I thought that'd keep everybody happy on the Pro Bowl weekend that I'm a little late to podcasting for. That's what it is. So let's get to the shout out. Shout out all 4 Steeler Pro Bowlers and Terrell Austin for the promotion. I mean, those are the only things you really talk about right now. Shout out to the Rams and Bengals making the Super Bowl. I know Bengals are a hard foe. It's hard to root for them, but honestly, I love the way that team is built. I know what they've done to the Steelers, and yeah, I'm super torn about it, but built the team the right way. It's good to see teams that build the teams the right way, hire good coaches, good GMs, get to where they're supposed to go, I guess, for lack of better terms, instead of being absolute crap shows like the Jacksonville Jaguars, which if you don't understand that saga, maybe sometime in the offseason I'll break down how they decided to keep with the disgruntled GM and Kent Belke that nobody likes. So then they have to go find retired coaches who just no one wants anymore, like Doug Peterson, like Urban Meyer, because no one else really wants to work with Kent Belke. Or Trent Belke, and then Shad Khan goes and hires this Goomba from Minnesota who thought it was a good idea to pay Kirk Cousins even though the head coach is telling him, no, that's a terrible decision. Yet somehow this dude gets off the hook by, for some reason, people hire these people who just don't make sense. It's the Jeff Fisher thing in the front office. Like, people hire Jeff Fisher forever to be a coach even though he was successful for a little bit, but then his ways just kind of grew old and it didn't work. And, man, I'm just glad I'm not a Jaguars fan because that stuff going on down there, I hope that Peterson can work out some stuff, but he didn't really make Wentz into a great quarterback, and I really hope he doesn't ruin Trevor Lawrence because I like watching good quarterback make good quarterback plays. So, yeah, that's fun. Anyway, those are my shout-outs. Got way off track there. I'm the Viking Donkey, as you know. Reach me at Viking Donkey on Xbox, Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of donkey with ginger is the YouTube channel. Leave us a like, leave us a follow, leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd love to see in future episodes, since off-season stuff could get kind of boring. I'll probably get into some statistical breakdowns of the player groups, see what we have going on, see how the cap space can be used, see who are pending free agents that can help this team. But Donk Nation, Steeler Nation, I know it's not our week, I know it's not our season, but hey, you gotta wave them if you got them, because you gotta be proud to be a Steelers fan.